Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Solo Salsa Podcast. And today's guest is Joel Monteleone. Did I
Perfect.
get it?
Monteleone, you got it.
Welcome, man.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I've been looking forward to this. I've been seeing your progress throughout the year. Funny enough, we started to know each other at Preston's Man Cave, beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We had bright aspirations.
Yeah.
And I want to unpack what we've done this year since that. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hi. So my name is Joel Monteleone. I'm a joy and leadership coach. I live here in Austin. I work with clients to help them bring more joy, fulfillment, and play into their life and leadership and their relationships. And I also host a couple events around town, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I host a dating event called Hot Takes, Hot Dates, and a networking event called NetPlay. But yeah, that's me.
And I love the things that you've created. I was watching some of your clips on Instagram, and the classic valuing productivity over everything else is the type A top performers' destiny, which is burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your story where you burnt out, you were just a top performer
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I wasn't always like addicted to productivity, but I was addicted to like the rat race. And even though I was incredibly successful by all external, measures, I was working in a great job at a, tech startup, making a lot of money, made more money than my family ever like made when they retired as like a 24-year-old, right? But deep down, I just knew I was not happy. I wasn't enjoying myself. And so I stayed in it for, another extra like 6 years because it was the right thing to do, or it was all I knew to do. And it was just focused on, work and work and work. And eventually I burned out, and I knew that something else had to change because I, thought about my life, how much more I had to live, or I get to live. It's, I don't know, we'll just say 60 more years if I'm lucky. Like, I didn't like with the trajectory that I was on. And when I thought, okay, where am I going to go from here? It was just like, I don't like this. And I don't like it now at 24. I don't even see myself making it to 44.
So every year you were just dissatisfied, although you were successful in some metrics. Did anything happen? Was there a crisis? Was there a turning point? Was there something you invested in, or?
Yeah, so a few different things. So like at this time, I was also drinking heavily and like doing drugs and partying a lot. And it was able to mask the fear and unhappiness that I was experiencing, right? So if I'm feeling burnout, if I'm feeling a lack of fulfillment, I would just go to the bar, party, have a great time, forget about it, and then, everything would be good. And I just did that most days. I would just drink most days, and I would always drink with people, so it'd be social, so it'd be acceptable.
You're not an alcoholic if you're doing it with friends, right?
Exactly. You're not alcoholic if you drink. It's called social drinking. Yeah, but when you socialize every day, like, you can call it what you want, right? But a couple of things really shifted it for me. One was I was walking home alone here in Austin, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was very, very drunk, and this homeless guy or someone, he walked up to me, and he just punched me in the face. Yeah, and luckily, I mean, I've never been punched in the face before, so I mean,
Rite of passage. You had to.
I tell this story in a very funny way. It's not that humorous in the moment, but looking back on it, I'm incredibly grateful because it's led me to here, right? But like, my first thought when I got punched in the face was, oh, hell yeah, I got a job. I got a job still. Like, I didn't go down. I didn't get knocked out. I got a chin. And then I looked at him and I'm like, that was really weird. Like, because I didn't even think that I was in trouble. Like, I'd never been in trouble. I've always been safe in my whole life. I'm 6 foot, I'm like a guy. I'm, fairly athletic. I never had to worry about being unsafe. And so even in that moment when I got punched in the face, I still didn't feel unsafe. And I walked away, and then he ended up chasing me and kicking me in the back, and he like stole my phone. And the next day I ended up just getting drunk again on the river. and dropped my wallet in the river. So in the span of like 12 hours, I was blacked out twice, lost my phone, got attacked by a homeless guy, lost my wallet in the river. And that was a Friday, Saturday. And so the Sunday, I kind of just like looked in the mirror and was like, this isn't cute anymore. You know, when I was telling people the story about me getting beat up by a homeless guy, they were laughing. One, because I tell good stories, but two, because I was the joke. You know, I was just like the butt of the joke. They weren't laughing with me, they're laughing at me. And I realized in that moment that the person I was about to turn 30. The person I was about to turn 30 was pretty much the same person or had the same values as I was when I was about to turn 20. Like partying, making money, having sex, like that's just what I was prioritizing. And I realized, I'm like, all right, I made a conscious decision at that moment. When I turn 40, my life, my priorities will look a lot different than they do at 30. And so that was a catalyst for me, you know, starting to go to the gym, drinking a lot less. I ended up investing in self-development and leadership courses and transformational processes, like Preston's, among others. And that's kind of what put me on this path now. But like the wake-up call was literally a punch in the face under I-35 bridge, like not too far from here, actually. But I'm grateful it wasn't anything more. And I'm also grateful that it happened because I wouldn't be, you know, sitting here if it wasn't for that.
Wow. Punch in the face to wake up. Whatever somebody has to go through to wake up, I just pray it's not worse than that, right? Some people do. Some people do wait till something's broken, tragedies, and pain is some of our biggest teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And we can be very resilient and just thick-skulled towards change. We can be in the same rut over and over, and years can go by. Living that really conscious life, that path really does have a catalyst at some point. And then you just start seeking out how to be better, how to feel better, how to produce better results in your life. And you have done that. You now have 3 separate businesses, 3 different things that you have going on. Let's start off with NetPlay because I really like play.
Yeah.
Really, you know, for my path, it's been a psychedelic medicine path, and every time brings me back to my inner child. Every time brings me back to the eyes of a child. Like you reposted the other day, someone strapped a camera onto a little girl, and just the amount of joy that was just coming out of every moment is why they say kids are the closest thing to source.
Yeah.
And I love what Garen Jones says, that adults are just degenerated children.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really look at it that way, pretty much true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where does the line differentiate from a child to an adult? Kids are the ones that are having the most fun, so what do they know, right? And I haven't, unfortunately, been able to make it out to one of your events, but with my new job, I probably will be able to now. Why did you create that? What's NetPlay, and what has it done for you and for the community?
Yeah, thanks so much for that setup. It's interesting. Like, I never really acknowledged how important play was to me and how much I naturally played in my life. Like, my life is play. Like, I spelt songs in the car. I dance on the sidewalk when I'm walking. I'm like constantly making up games with just very little things. And that was just kind of something that I did naturally and didn't realize that it was unique or like not necessarily a normal thing to do. I remember a few weeks ago, I was sitting at a coffee shop with 3 of my friends, and there was a magazine. It was like a, I don't know, home goods magazine. And I'm looking at it and go, open it up. I go, hey, we're gonna go through this magazine, and we're each gonna pick like a bedroom, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room that we like. And so once we choose it, that's what we go. And I'm gonna flip through this magazine, and we're gonna choose it. And for like an hour, we just played and laughed out of nowhere with just the thing that happened. And so like play is created in any moment. And similar to what that video with that little child is like, they know that she was skipping across a crosswalk, blue, green, yellow, and just like calling it out, and like, you know, the floor is lava, like the simplest things. But back to the original question with NetPlay. So NetPlay is a networking event where we take the work out of networking and replace it with play. And it's kind of my ethos of my life and both of my events that I host and my coaching for that matter is that life doesn't need to be so serious. Like it's serious enough, it's stressful enough. People put enough pressure on ourselves all the time. Like there gets to be more opportunities where you just play and have fun. And so both of my events, they were born from going to so NetPlay was born from going to a networking event. And it was just dreadfully boring. And I'm just like, I'm there, I'm meeting people. Everyone's very kind. It was great conversation, but pretty much the whole conversation was just around work and productivity and how to better at work and what challenges I'm dealing with. And I was just like, I've just been working for 8 hours. Like, I don't want to come like have work infiltrate my social life. And so I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way for us to connect. As adults, it's challenging to make friends. It's challenging to be open. And so we immediately connect over things like work or dating or challenges or like gossip, And so I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way. And what's the type of event that I would want to go to? I'm like, I would want to go to something fun and playful and silly. And so the first NetPlay was on my birthday. We're actually coming up on a year anniversary on November 8th in a couple weeks here. But the first NetPlay was last year, November 10th, which was on my birthday. I used my birthday to kind of coerce my friends to come. I'm like, if you love me, you'll come to this event because it's my birthday. And so I had a bunch of friends come and we played Duck, Duck, Goose. And then we connect. And I truly think that we are our most authentic selves in a state of play. It is vulnerable to play Duck, Duck, Goose. Because it's silly. We don't do it often. And so every time I start my events, I invite people into this idea of like, hey, this might feel weird for you, but just lean into the discomfort, lean into the play, connect to the child that you are, and have fun. Stop with all the stories that you're saying that this is silly and you should have stayed home and you should be watching Netflix right now, and just let yourself enjoy it. And at the beginning circle, everyone's always very tense and like confused. They don't know what they got themselves into. We play a game and then we do some connecting exercises. We just get into a small group. I ask some questions, playful questions, nothing serious, no challenges, just like playful things, imaginatory things. And then we play another game typically, and then we connect again, maybe one-on-one, a bit more intimate, and then we close. And at the closing circle, I always invite people to, speak up. And the energy from when it starts to when it ends is so palpable. And I consistently hear people telling me, it's like, oh, I really needed this. And it just, every time I'm kind of amazed and so honored that not only do people come, but people come repeatedly. And so it's like, it's a desire that people have. And we played silly games. We played tag and Duck, Duck, Goose, and people come every month because it's a state of joy. It's a state of play. And like our lives, we have so much that we're working on and doing and constantly like focused on that we don't take the time to prioritize play. So that's NetPlay. I'm rambling.
No,
but like,
that's amazing. That's
yeah.
And I'm very curious too on what's your vision with it. What's year 2? Congrats on the year 1.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to go. I'm gonna really make it an effort to go and play.
Yeah, the 1 year anniversary is a silent disco. And we're also going to have one of those big parachutes that I used to play as a kid. So I'm pretty excited about it. That's a great question. What is the next like version of it? And I've been thinking about a lot about this. And it really is, okay, what other environments need play, right? And like what communities could use some more play? And so I've been thinking, do I want to create like co-working? Do I want to create masterminds, events focused around joy, play, but also like productivity and leadership? Because those things are not separate. It's not either I'm playful or I'm serious. No, it's you can be both. I feel I'm both. I know when to be one or the other. I'm probably one more often because it's just more fun. But like, I'm pretty successful. I'm pretty good at what I do. I know when I can be serious. I can turn it on pretty quickly. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking is what other serious environments, pressured environments could use a little play, and bringing that into work, bringing that into, business is what I'm thinking.
Awesome. Great. I love that. And that's huge. So it feels like with that, you're onto something that could probably be licensed around the world or something.
Yeah.
Seems like it's that big because I don't see that too often. And something that I'd maybe pitch and bring up to you at the end is I have an idea as well as creating some type of meetup group, but just a little different, just with more. Do you find that there's similar people that go to these events that, birds of a feather flock together? So like some of the same people go to the same events, they pollinate in the same areas. Do you see people from the play go to your hot takes, hot dates? What kind of people do you associate with that go to these kind of things?
Yeah. I mean, I do see crossover, and I just am grateful that I have really good friends that like me and support me. And so I do see people coming to multiple events, which is, forever grateful for that. But the people that I see at my events are successful. They're entrepreneurs. They're business people and business professionals, and they don't typically do these types of things. And I think that's what's really interesting about NetPlay, and I think why it is scalable and why it's, why people are so interested in it, is that it's different. And the same with Hot Takes, Hot Dates, which is my dating event. Similar story where I went to some dating events and I was like, this is too serious. This is like too much. I'm enjoying myself, but it's just like I'm not having fun. And I think I'm my most like attracting and attractive when I'm in a state of play and state of joy. And so if the environment is not creating that, I'm just kind of serious. And it's like, I feel uncomfortable. Like if I were on a first date with you, it wouldn't be serious. We wouldn't be having these really deep conversations. No, we would just be having fun. And that's where the connection is made. And so Hot Dates is a similar thing where it's a very, very fun night. It's honestly almost like a comedy show.
Yeah, the clips that you posted on this recent one, that just looks like a top event to go to.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like every time it's so much fun. And I think people come to it, again, not knowing what they're getting into. And they think it's just a dating event, a singles event. They think they might be doing some speed dating. And
what's an example of the hot takes environment? Like, why is it different? Why is it so?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's focused on just group and socializing. So instead of doing one-on-one speed dates or, conscious relating or whatever it is, we put people in groups of 8. So half guys, half girls typically. And you have like your table, and we give you a dating topic. And the dating topic is just fun cultural stuff, whether it's like run clubs, like dating at run clubs, or astrology, or more like raunchy things like dick pics or sex on the first date. It's like literally just a bunch of topics, and we give the table a topic, and then they come up with a hot take together. And so a couple of my favorites is one of them was like eating in bed was the topic. And the hot take was the only thing that should be eaten in bed is me. And this woman came up on stage. And so what we do is they come up with a hot take, and we bring one of the people from the table up on stage and we interview them of their hot takes, similar to what we're doing right now. But we ask them, who are you? Where are you from? How's your dating experience? And then what's your topic and what's your hot take? And it's just fun. And then the whole group, the whole bar or whatever we're hosting at, the whole venue, they hold up a sign that says either sick or ick. So if they agree with the hot take, it's sick and it's green. If they don't, it's red. And so everyone's super engaged. It's super funny. People's hot takes are hilarious. And so when the event usually ends, people come up to me and they say, hey, that was one of the most fun events I've ever had or I've ever been to. And it wasn't because they met somebody. You know, the value or was not created by the result of meeting someone. And a lot of times that's what we do, especially in dating. It's like, I'm going to go to this dating event and it is either good or bad depending on the people that I meet. Not about the experience that I had or the person that I got to be in the event, right? If I'm able to go to an event and I'm my most authentic self and I know that no matter what, I showed up authentically, for me, that's a win. It doesn't matter who I meet. And so that's what we like to create in this event, where it says, hey, you're going to have fun. You're going to laugh. You're going to be authentic. You're going to be a little uncomfortable, but it's going to be, you know, something that you get to break through. You're going to meet a ton of friends, and you may or may not meet a romantic partner. But that's not the goal.
Yeah, because you don't guarantee you're going to meet somebody in anything. And that's just, there's no guarantees in life and no guarantees you're going to find the one. So do people find matches there?
Totally. I don't know if they are like matches per se. There's been long-term relationships that have been born at these events, but there are dates that occur. And a good number of people meet dates. And it's funny, like I had one of my friends, he goes, oh, Joel, your event was amazing. He said, I got 3 girls' numbers and 4 guys' numbers. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? He goes, guys just came up to me and wanted to be my friend, right? Because it's just like, it's social, it's fun. And so there are dates that occur for sure, because people are coming to the dating event. Everyone's single and people do connect. Have there been long-term relationships that have formed from it? I don't know. Maybe I'll get a text or a DM saying, hey, Joel, we're getting married. We met at your hot dates. But until then, I don't have any hard data that tells me that.
Yeah, it's too soon. You
Exactly.
started it this year, right?
It started like 6 months ago, maybe 7 months ago. Yeah.
What do you think about the dating world in general? Why are these events necessary? What do people tell you when they come to these events? You've probably collected a lot of feedback and stories.
Yeah. The one thing about hosting dating events and being in the dating world is a lot of the conversations that I have with my single friends or in relationship is around dating. And so I've been getting a lot of information around dating. And my view on dating and relationships is a little bit different than maybe a normal person's or like society's, because I mean, Austin, many people say Austin is a hard city to date in. And I don't believe that. I don't believe any city is a hard city to date in. I believe it's up to me, the individual, and creating the outcome that I want, right? If I have very specific things that I'm looking for, then you get to have those things. Even if they are, I want someone who's 6 foot, you know, making 6 figures, finance, 6'5", blue eyes. Like if that's what you want, great. You get to have that. However, you also get to be okay with waiting for it. And if you're not okay with waiting for it, then you get to change your requirements. Because if you have these incredibly unique and specific requirements, but then are upset that you haven't found that man, then you're setting yourself up for failure, and you're setting yourself up for being sad and resentful and angry. But I do believe that if you want that, you get to have it. But you just get to wait for it and do the things that are necessary in order to attract it. You might need to go to a 6'5", blue eyes conference, in Ohio, if there's one like that. But like, you got to really go for it if it's really specific. If it's worth fighting for, you have to fight for it. It's not going to just come to you. And it might, but it might just take some time. And so when it comes to dating, I think it's important to get incredibly clear on what you want and then not settle for anything that's outside of that. Tell the universe, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want my life to look like. This is what my partner to look like and my relationship to look like. And then be clear to the universe that that is what you want. And so when something comes from Hinge or something comes from, I don't know, an in-person event or at the bar, and they are outside of that, don't waste your time, because it's just going to set you up for you to reinforce the fact that there's no right men for you. Even though you decided before you even met this man that he's probably not the one, because you already knew it when you saw him, or with women too. And at the same time, be open to being surprised. But I think it's just being very clear on what you want and understanding what it's going to take for you to achieve that. And so that's what I tell a lot of people. It's get clear. And if you're having a hard time staying in a relationship with somebody, or you're meeting a lot of great men and women, but you're not able to form a relationship, then it's not Austin. It's not the people here. It's likely the individual. And I'm saying that from a place of ownership, because I've been the problem for a very long time. I've met a lot of amazing women for a very long time, and I'm still single because I had work to do. And for a while, I didn't take ownership of that because I didn't think it was me. But now I realize that it is me. And so I'm doing the work.
Well, when was your last relationship?
And how or why?
Yeah. What were the lessons of the last relationship, and was that a while ago? How long have you been?
I was in a relationship this year, and it wasn't too long, and it ended because she didn't want to be in a relationship with me, and I think deep down I didn't want to be in a relationship with her long term, and so it fizzled out. And
Did you feel that? Did you notice the signs coming? Was it forced almost? Was it just?
I was very into it. I was very optimistic. I thought we were on the same page. And then something occurred, something she said gave me evidence that she was not on that same page. And so then once that kind of happened, I realized, okay, I get to adjust the way that I'm approaching this relationship.
Nothing like relationships to cut deep and just force us to go back within, right? You know, for my relationship story, I dated for a bit and I had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
They say a lot of people, most of them are kind of in relationship hell.
Yeah.
They might find somebody toxic or somebody there seems to be a foundational level to get out of, which is, I think I read somewhere that depending on what you didn't get, whenever emotionally absent things that came from emotionally absent parents that you didn't get, or whatever happened in childhood, you will find in a partner that will mirror those experiences. It's usually not a good thing. So once someone can heal themselves past that, then you can start finding a beautiful relationship.
Is that what you found in your relationship, that you had those things to heal?
Yeah. So when I was in a wonderful marriage of 8 years, the first couple years, we are working through our baggage. We're working through our traumas.
Yeah.
Working through our triggers.
Yeah.
Because nothing will trigger you more than who you're in love with or who you're seeing.
When did you meet your
I was 21.
21?
I have to be 22.
Okay.
And I had done a lot of personal development.
Oh, well.
A lot of, I was a big time nerd with that. And she was incredible. Usually I would say women are, with their intuition and just who they are and how they are, they don't have to do as much work as we do.
Women, I say this all the time, they are unfathomable.
They are.
They do everything that I do, plus they raise children.
Yep.
And they hold so much So I'm co-signing that statement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't get it.
A great woman will level up a man like no other.
Yeah.
I was able to heal through a lot of things, and the communication and the emotional listening, the deep listening, goes a long way.
Mhm.
And if only I could see like your relationship and see how that was,
Mhm.
because um, the subtleties that a woman will give in their communication, body language, their energy, their attention, you can scale rate down a scale to 10, like how attracted they are to you. They will do certain things if they're like so 5, 6, 7, but if they're 8, 9, and 10, they just are constantly in love and just wanting to be with you all the time. So you can always feel that how attractive they are to you. And the horror stories I've heard from the dating world, people say it's hell, but you were just saying it too. It's you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are.
Mhm.
And we definitely don't experience this life as it is. We experience it totally as how we're perceiving it. And luckily, I had a few good dates. I was definitely on a mission. I was like focused of like, I was slow at the beginning, definitely took a lot of time to just be single, just by myself, to grieve the ending of one relationship and didn't want to rush into anything. And then once I started the date train going,
Mhm.
it was like a new date every week. And it started getting very expensive. Like, oh my God.
It gets so
I started
expensive.
changing where I'm taking these girls
Yeah.
to, like what kind of dinner.
You got to figure out where the happy hours are, but like that's cheap, but also like kind of nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started like figuring these things out. And they generally say in the dating world to cultivate abundance. Just
Mhm.
you can have girlfriends or romantic partners, but just have lots of love. Just be social, be friendly. And then you'll be able to make an authentic choice whenever you do want to be monogamous or settle down with somebody.
Mhm.
And that's what happened to me. I met someone, it was just, all I wanted to do is just give my energy just to this one person.
What was it about her that was different than the other people that you dated?
This is what I was looking for too. She's just really girly, really feminine.
Mhm.
She's uniquely herself. Um, and just the attraction. So it was kind of unspoken, really. It's just two puzzle pieces just really matching. You can, I can describe things on paper, but it's just a connection.
Mm.
And it's very much without words. The the depth of intimacy as we look in each other's eyes is just, we do that for a long time
Mm.
often. And I'm like stayed up later than ever. I'm just doing more fun things. She loves to do a lot of fun things, and
Like
I,
what?
we go to a lot of music shows, and
Oh yeah.
we're definitely in the EDM world, having fun.
Nice.
And excuse me, a lot of live music.
Yeah.
She's so crafty and creative. Like we did stained glass workshop and made something, and like when I went to her apartment, she just showed me all the things she's made, and it's been a lot of fun. And we went to ACL as well, and for weeks leading up to it, I was working on my hot to go. So
Oh,
that was my debut, the hot to go.
you want to do it right now?
Ah,
You ready? You know it? I know it.
can you lead the music?
Oh yeah, ready? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. HOTTOGO. You can make it hard to go. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
That's
Yeah, that was for you. Yeah, that was for you.
see, that's play right there.
Yeah. And we're constantly playing and dancing and just in the living room, like dancing around. It's just been so much fun.
Mhm.
And but yeah, like it was just, you can feel that connection. And luckily, with a lot of the men's groups that I'm with, really give me a lot of that strong container qualities that like stepping more into my masculine. And after a month, I asked her to be my girlfriend. She said yes, and like I just knew, like I can't tell if she's gonna be my one for the rest of my life. And with my ex-wife, I think her and I both realized one person can't be everything to you.
Mm.
And It's maybe sad. I've heard some sad love songs to say that I don't believe in forever anymore.
Mm.
And maybe I'm just not thinking that far.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you could still have a beautiful vision and build things together without having to follow old school methodologies of, you're going to grow old forever. Like me and my ex are still best friends and we're going to be in each other's lives forever. Unless she gets like a toxic husband or something. Sorry. Um, but so relationships, whether romantic or not, like done well, can last forever.
Yeah, it takes a powerful decision to work through the hard times and be uncomfortable and say things that are on your mind that you don't want to say. But I mean, in the work that I do, like feedback is the most powerful way to show someone that you love them. Telling them what's in the way between them and their highest self, giving them that feedback, telling someone, hey, the way you're showing up right now is not the way that I know you to, and the things that I see in the way are XYZ. Like, I'm only telling you this because I love you. And if I didn't love you, I wouldn't care. And so it is saying the things that are uncomfortable. And I think we, especially with, social media and the disconnection, like we get away from being uncomfortable and we're constantly just striving for comfort. And I think in relationships, a lot of it is uncomfortable, but it's worth it. And so, it makes me sad when I see relationships end. It truly does. If it seems to me that it could have been saved, my parents, they separated a few years ago and they're in their 70s when they separated, right? And I told them at one point, like years ago, I said, you either get to work on this or you get to separate or you die. Like those are your three options in this relationship. Like you're not dying anytime soon. At least, I hope you're not. And so you either get to work on it or you separate, because what you're doing now, this isn't working. And so, I was sad when they separated. I wish they would have worked on it, but like that, they are better off now than where they were. But when I see relationships get to a certain point that they end, when there could have been, discomfort that they experience instead, it makes me sad, because I think a lot of people, I think there's a lot of relationships that could have been saved if they really leaned into the love and the discomfort of what love brings.
So how's the dating world treating you right now? You had that one seat, let's just call it a seat, like it was just for a season.
Yeah.
Probably taught you some things maybe. And
Yeah.
what did it teach you, and what current, are you looking for potential partners, or are you just focusing on yourself?
I mean, I think both those things can be true. And it's funny because I just had a friend of mine call me forth in a story that I was creating where I'm like, oh, I'm dating intentionally. I, don't want to risk any things that I have. It's funny. I have a lot of amazing women come to my events. They come to NetPlay. They come to Hot Takes, Hot Dates. And people always ask me after Hot Takes, Hot Dates, they go, oh, did you meet anyone there? Do you meet any women there? And my
Being the host, you have the prime
it's amazing.
power seat.
It's amazing. Like, give me a microphone and like all bets are off. But I think to myself, and I was thinking to myself, it's like, I don't want to date these people because I want them to come back to my events, Not because I want them to be single, but I just don't want it to create some sort of friction to where they feel like they can't come to my events because we dated. And so, I was keeping myself in this cage of like, oh, I'm gonna focus on myself, focus on my events, and I'll date later. But I know, like, I desire a relationship right now. And so my friend called me out and he's like, so you want to be in a relationship, but you also want to control everything around you, like control your events, control the relationship, control your relationships. And I was like, oh, that's fair, you know? And so I am dating. I have people that I, you know, am either going to go on a date with or have an idea of I'm going to go on a date with them. But I think Austin, like, I don't know, Austin's amazing. And if you want to meet a lot of people, if you want to go on dates, like, I don't know, get yourself out there, like host events, like even set up just little group outings with people. Like that is a masculine energy. Like I'm talking to men primarily here in this because that's my experience. But like that is a masculine energy to be the person who decides to like, I'm going to do this thing, whether it's a business, it's an event, it's just a group outing. Like get yourself out there, show yourself in a leadership role, show that you can create things, that you can manage things, and it will elevate the way that you are viewed in the dating world. Like the women that I'm attracting now, like this is going to be a little humble brag, maybe not so humble, but the women I'm attracting now are way, way different and much more high quality than the women that I was attracting 3 years ago when I was, you know, doing drugs and drinking all the time. And it's because I'm more high quality. I am a more, like, I feel really confident in saying that. And it's because I did a lot of, you know, work and to create it. And I think back on who I was 3 years ago, and like that guy was going on so many dates. He was, you know, buying so many drinks for people, and it was so social. And I'm so grateful for him because he gave me the opportunity and the skills to be who I am today. And you know, that version of me might have lasted longer than I would have liked it to, looking back on it. But like everything happens for a reason, and so I know that I'm being set up for a really beautiful relationship with somebody. And I couldn't have said that 3 years ago.
Makes me wonder though, with the high quality, what are you looking for? Have you felt it? Have you gotten close? You know? Or are you very, very picky?
I don't know if I'm picky. I like the word discerning. And what I'm looking for is I am looking for someone that is like spectacular. She has something that she's very passionate about, whether she's an entrepreneur herself or she just has something that she's passionate about, art, something creative. She's passionate about bringing something into the world. I love to be active and social, and I love to play volleyball and dance salsa. And so I don't, you know, she doesn't need to do all those things, but someone who would like to dance with me is important. I think someone to balance out my energy is what I'm looking for. Like I'm pretty energized and like outgoing when I get to a certain point, especially.
An introvert? Like you're an extrovert?
I mean,
I'm gonna keep you at home.
someone always says like the introvert extrovert. It's like, then, you know, this is such a pet peeve of mine. Like I'm an introverted extrovert or I'm an extrovert. And it's like, well, so you're just human, right? Like people are everything at all at once, you know? And so I want someone who is just a little bit more grounded in their energy and yeah, feminine and kind, has a nice smile, good eyes, good hair. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And I do think that they're all over Austin. Literally, Austin is crawling with high quality women. Like it's insane. It's crazy.
Did you post the last one at all in your social media? The one that you had dated for a little bit?
No.
it was funny because I heard about soft launch and hard launch
Mm-hmm.
with the idea, and it was a big old thing. Like you post a soft launch, like maybe 2 drinks
Yeah, yeah,
or something,
yeah,
and then hard launch when you're both in the picture
yeah.
doing something cute.
Did you do that?
I did, I did
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and it was fine. It got a lot of good feedback and everything, but um, whenever you soft launch, it's gonna stir up a lot of commotion, and then whenever you hard launch with this person, everybody's gonna.
You know what's funny though is I keep people guessing because I have a lot of really beautiful, wonderful female friends. And so I'll consistently be in pictures with them. And I have people ask, oh, is this your girlfriend? Is this your girlfriend? Is this your girlfriend? Like, for example, I went to ACL with my roommate. She's female, beautiful, super cute, really fun. And we took a picture together in front of the ACL sign. And like, I had my arms around her. And we could, like, it looks like we're in a relationship. And I had so many people ask me, like, oh, is this your girlfriend? Is your girlfriend? Is your girlfriend? I'm like, no. And so I don't know. People,
I knew.
you know,
I knew you have a lot of.
friend.
I knew you have a lot of female friends. I'm not gonna believe anything other than a kiss or like something like only.
I'll put in an airplane for you. Yeah, everyone that's watching here, look out for an airplane. If you see an airplane in the comment, you know that's the launch. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna probably forget that, but I'll remember.
That's cool, man. So, tell me about your coaching business.
Mhm.
I know that you've focused on helping people not burn out like you did.
Mhm.
That's the third thing that you do, right? That's
Mhm.
still active in coaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do join leadership coaching, life coaching, whatever you want to call it. But I work with people who are stressed, overwhelmed, burned out, have lost that light, and are, find themselves in a place that they don't really know how to get out of. And I primarily work with people in stressful, always on jobs, whether that's advertising or tech or something where, like, I mean, we're attached to our phones all the time. So work never stops. And so if you start to lack fulfillment in what you're doing, but you're doing it all the time, you're going to burn out or worse. And so I work with people to relight that light, fan the flame of fulfillment and fun and joy and connection. I do that through life coaching. I do some mindset coaching, some meditations, and it's amazing because I get at the root cause of the mindset, right? What is causing them to experience this lack of fulfillment, this burnout, whatever it is. And when you start to understand like the belief that they're holding that's leading to this, and you can shift that, everything changes. When you have, like, you can't be miserable at work and then super joyful at home. Like, it's just, that doesn't work. If you are, then you're being inauthentic in one of the two, right? And so you're either miserable all the time or you're really passionate and joyful all the time. And so there can be moments when you're miserable at work, for sure, right? Like, I'm not saying that it's all flowers and rainbows, but what I support people is finding that fulfillment, finding that purpose that they once had, that they've lost because they've created a story that, work is the most important thing in my life, or I have to get this promotion, or, I broke up with this girl and she's the only girl or guy that I'm going to ever be in a relationship with. And so they get into a story that's like, that keeps them small. And so reconnecting them to that joy, reconnecting them to that play, reconnecting them to that child that they once were, and saying, hey, it's not that serious. Everything that you've went through up until this point, you've gotten through. And what you're experiencing now is not anything different. It might feel bigger, but are you ready to break through it? Are you ready to start being more successful in your career? Are you excited being more playful in your relationships? Are you excited to showing up into a room and attracting people around you? Because how you're showing up right now isn't gonna create that. If you think you're gonna get a promotion walking around like a slug, you're not. If you want that promotion, you get to shift your mindset and you get to actually play more. You get to leave. If you want that promotion, you get to leave work early and go have fun. Because staying at work an extra 2 hours, burning yourself out, isn't going to lead to the outcome you want. It's just not. And so that's my coaching. It's just getting people to have more fun, and in having more fun, you are more successful. You attract the things that you want.
And I believe in that philosophy 100% because ever since I read this book called The 4-Hour Work Week,
Mm-hmm.
completely made me think of lifestyle design.
Mm-hmm.
And just being busy, just being a workhorse is a form of itself laziness. Thinking about the full picture of your life requires a lot more intention and a lot more work to cultivate a life where you don't really actually feel like you need a vacation from.
Mm-hmm.
That is truly the goal where, like you said, you're feeling passionate and playful all the time. And then having those moments in between. You've seemed to have created that lifestyle. Every time I'm on social media, I'm seeing you're doing something fun or something in those businesses.
Yeah.
How do you create that kind of lifestyle? What does your lifestyle look like?
Yeah, I think it's going back to the thing we were talking about earlier, but it's being okay with being uncomfortable. And I think when people are burning out or, that workhorse, people have become comfortable in being a workhorse. They've become comfortable in being miserable. And it's actually uncomfortable for them to be joyful. It's uncomfortable for them to create art or go to a ceramics class, whatever it is outside of their comfort zone. And so for me, in order to create the businesses, create the events, it took me getting uncomfortable. And the more you get uncomfortable, the easier it gets, right? And it really just takes that one risk where you say, oh, wow, I didn't want to do that, and I did it anyway. And the outcome was whatever it was. It doesn't matter what the outcome was. What matters was that you took the action. You were in committed action. You did the thing that you said you didn't want to do. And so, yeah, I think for me, it's just being okay being uncomfortable. And then also knowing that everything's going to be okay. Like I prioritize fun and play, and I might not work an extra 2 hours, or I might not finish that project that needed to be done by 5:00. And knowing that it's going to be okay. And that, and it is, it always is. And my life is a testament of that. And sometimes the universe tests me, and I think to myself, oh my God, the sky is falling. And I might be in that for a month or 2 months, maybe even 6 to 8 months. But in the end, it all works out. And I remember, oh yeah, what was I, how silly of me. I wasn't trusting the process. I wasn't trusting the universe. I wasn't trusting that it was going to work out. And it always does. And so when you start to approach every day knowing that no matter what occurs today, you're going to be okay, life starts to look a little bit different. You start to walk with a little bit more pep in your step, a little bit more confidence, a lot more trust. And when you start to walk with trust, when you start to walk with confidence and a pep in your step, your whole world changes. Like if you walk with confidence, you are confidence, and your world is confidence. If you walk with doubt and fear, your world is doubt and fear. And so I am joy, like I'm joy. And so my life is joy. Everyone around me is joy. And that's a decision that I made. And it's really fucking fun. I don't know. Like it's great. Yeah.
Amazing. Just in closing, what do you see your 2025 looking like? We heard a little bit of what NetPlay is gonna possibly go into, maybe mold it to other arenas.
Yeah.
But what else do you see for yourself going forward next year?
2025 is going to be the year that sets me up for the next 10 years. And so I've put in a lot of building blocks. I've built NetPlay. It's been a year. Hot takes, hot dates. We've done that for 6 months. My coaching, it's been a couple years, and I'm starting to find the real groove in the business. I have, another full-time job that I do. It's really fun and cool. And so 2025 is going to be a very strong focus on Joel Monteleone personal brand. And I want to create more content, lean into more interviews like this, and do the same thing that I'm actually seeing in content these days that I did with NetPlay and Hot Takes, Hot Dates, where I have conversations like this with people that are fun and playful and joyful, and it's not so serious all the time. And so I'm excited to bring that out and really invest in the personal brand. You're going to see a lot more of my face probably. So I'm excited for that 2025.
Well, it's definitely true. I had a lot of fun doing this interview.
Yeah.
Can't believe I can't wait to tell Catherine that we did the hot to go dance.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a fun one. And that's the point of life, is just to really enjoy it. So, man, just thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Let's go.